This is the Chicago Golf Report podcast, hosted by Walter Liss. Today's guest is Jeff Wood, Vice President of Marketing at the Indoor Golf Shop.
So a good place to start might be your perception on the indoor golf business, but basically golf simulators. It seems like there's been a seismic shift in, say, the last couple of years. Maybe you could tell me. It seems like it's just blossoming everywhere. What's your take on the industry?
Yeah, I agree with you, Walter. I think, you're seeing it more mainstream now than you ever have before. So I think when, I saw, a few years ago, just different golf brands and companies running commercials or videos, and you'd see the simulator as part of those videos. And, the whole kind of movement towards custom fitting in irons and golf clubs was a big deal. And it brought, launch monitors into the mainstream, and then golf simulators as well, just kind of followed all of that. So I think it's just been this kind of gradual movement. And then, since COVID hit, obviously with people staying home more than they were, they got a lot of, simulators got a lot of interest, and indoor golf, products got a lot of interest at that time. And, for our business, that's absolutely when things kind of skyrocketed, and it's continued that way for the past few years.
The interesting thing is that there's been this, at least in the Chicagoland area, this blossoming of indoor golf simulator standalone businesses, outside of courses. What would you point to towards that? Is it the technology evolving? Is it this boost of new people who are more tech savvy, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if there's a real definite reason why, but I think it's a combination of a few things. And just like coming out of COVID, people wanted to get together in a social atmosphere that we weren't able to. So that obviously drove a lot of these entertainment facilities and social facilities. But along with that, of course, you look at Topgolf and the success that they've had, and just kind of that phenomenon of, golf is kind of secondary to the food and beverage and the experience that they're delivering. So you can go there and you've never touched a golf club in your life, and you're having a blast. So I think that is part of it as well. But also the technology, and just kind of, it may also be the generation that's, grown up with gaming as part of a big, an important part of their life, that it's very natural to be playing something on a big screen, and golf fits that way. You can knock a ball into a screen and watch what it happens, and have fun with your friends. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's a big combination of things, but we're definitely seeing a lot of those independent golf facilities open up. Seems like every week now. You have your major chains that have kind of taken shape, like 5-Iron Golf and Golf Lounge 18 up in the Northeast, and X Golf is around. And so Topgolf has its own lounge indoor space. So yeah, these things are cropping up, and of course, for our business, we love it.
So maybe if we take a step back, I think when golfers talk about golf simulators, I'm not sure everybody understands all the various elements that go into it, from the launch monitor to the projection to the screen and everything, all of which Indoor Golf Shop sells. Can you kind of give an overview, I guess, of everything that you provide to kind of give this simulator experience?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great question, because we get that a lot from people. They don't understand all the different components that come with it. But obviously you're needing a screen, you're needing something to hit into, and the screen is that it's like a movie projector screen, and you have a projector, and it's kind of broadcasting the what's coming from the launch monitor and the gaming PC. That's all tied in together with the golf simulator software. So there's that technology component that is needed, that then shines up onto your screen and allows you to play the game or the course or the driving range, whatever it may be. So, for our business, we are both kind of a retailer of all these different manufacturers and all these different technology brands. So we have, let's say 10 different brands of launch monitors, and those could be radar Doppler based that sit behind the ball and track the ball's trajectory, and gives you all the data from that. Or it could be a video launch monitor, video-based launch monitor that either sits on the ground next to the ball or up in the ceiling, and it has cameras that are watching the ball impact and the club impact. And then all that is then translated and goes through either an app or a gaming PC or whatnot to really tie the golf software together. And then that's how it produces kind of what you're seeing onto the screen. So we sell a wide variety of those technology components. And then in addition, we are a manufacturer ourselves. So we are making, basically what I say is we make everything that you're hitting into or off of. So we make the turf, we make the flooring, we make the screen that you're hitting into, we make the black enclosure that kind of finishes out the room or the space. We have the protective netting, we have the protective foam pieces that you're not hitting a metal frame with a golf ball. So all of those components is a big part of it. And customers, we tell them all the time, don't overlook the quality of all of that stuff, because that's the stuff you're hitting into, and you want the durability and the quality to hold up over time. So that's kind of our business right now, is we're kind of packaging all of that together for our customers.
So who would be the, I guess, prototypical customer who would go to your website, Indoor Golf Shop, or shopindoorgolf.com, but to come and say, I want all these elements? What type of a golfer? Is this more of a lower handicap, or does it range, or who's the prototype right now?
Yeah, great question, because it really ranges. I think we don't really target the real serious, guys that really want their numbers and they're dialing in each club in their bag. And of course we have those as part of our customer, but it's a broad mix. And we have people that they're really beginning the game, and that they picked it up last May in Chicago or in Wisconsin, and they don't want to stall out come October. The winter's here, and I need something to keep practicing because I love it and I'm into it. So I'm going to buy a net, and I'm going to buy this $600 Garmin launch monitor, and I'm going to keep practicing and use it in my garage or whatever it may be. So we sell to a ton of those golfers, the guys that are just trying to keep it going, find time during the day or night to play and get some swings in. We all know that kind of the lifestyle of the golfer has changed, and they're not able to spend 6 hours at the club. So this is giving them that convenience at home to keep swinging, keep working on their game. And that way, when they are at the club, they're playing a little bit better than they had been, because they didn't have a 3-week layoff. So the indoor golf experience is really helping a broad range of golfers, and there's no real specific ones. And back in the day, people thought, wow, I got to really be rich to afford this stuff. I can't have a simulator. Now, of course, there are still those, $80,000, full blown out spaces. But then there's also the $800 kind of starter set, or the $2,000 nice technology that really can get you what you really are needing or wanting. And you can kind of piecemeal this as you go. And if you enjoy it, and if you're getting enough out of it at $1,200, that's fantastic. Or you can work your way up to $12,000. It's kind of runs the gamut of pricing now.
So one thing that's come up as I've talked to various people about the golf simulator business is one of the real positives is the fact that, like you said, people just taking up the game. There's always been this intimidation factor that some people might feel on the golf course. You got a lot of people around you. Golf's not an easy game. You're feeling pressure. You got to keep moving. But you don't have that with the golf simulator. Do you see people, like you said, who are newer, kind of coming to this realm because of the fact that they can learn the game without the pressure?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's not only that customer that's buying something very simple for them to work on and get very comfortable with the game and their swing, and kind of that gateway into the sport, so to speak. So they don't have to go to the club, and they're not on stage, and they don't have this crowd around them that, that's very it's very intimidating. So this allows them to kind of baby step into the sport in a new way. And then it's also like we talked about earlier, that social factor where, you know, I could invite a bunch of buddies or friends over, couples or whatever it may be, and introduce them to the game that way. And they, you know, this guy down the street has never played golf, but here he can in my basement or in my garage. And it's kind of a cool way introductory into the sport. So yeah, that works out for sure.
So maybe if we kind of pull things apart a little bit, obviously you talked about the components of an indoor golf simulator, but the big part of it, I would imagine, is the launch monitor itself. And you were referring to all these different levels in terms of the price and capabilities. But one of the things that I think about as a golfer is I like having a launch monitor that I can also use outside, like I can bring to the driving range. What do you tell people who are looking to build a simulator like myself, who are looking for that functionality?
Yeah, sure. There's a lot of options now for that. The portable, the mobile, the personal launch monitor, we call it. And you know, a lot of different companies are rolling those out. It seems like every 3 months now. And so there's a lot to choose from, and it's very complicated. It can be confusing and intimidating for our customers. So we do talk to them about, you know, what exactly are you wanting to use this for, and how, you know, because I guess the differences in the monitors nowadays is really dialing into what data you're getting out of it. And then is that data 100% or 99% accurate? Or is it, you know, going to have some misreads here and there? So you're paying for that accuracy. You're paying for that kind of horsepower that's built into that launch monitor. And, you know, somebody could say, come into our sales team and say, you know, I'm looking for a launch monitor that I want for in the house and also on the range, but I don't want to spend $20,000. Well, that's perfectly fine, because there are, you know, some that are $3,000 or $1,000 or $700. So it just kind of depends on what they're really looking for. But, you know, there is something for really every price point. If you want something that is indoor and outdoor. And then you're talking about also the different ways that they read the ball impact. And like I mentioned earlier, some sit 8 feet behind behind the golfer, behind the ball, and they're reading as the ball is hit out into the fairway. So you need to kind of think about that. Okay, that may not work in my house. It could work on the range, but it may not. I don't have that space in my house, you know, or my garage. So we talked to them about that. Some sit right there down next to the ball. You know, if I'm a household that has righties and lefties, that's a little tricky, because you got to move that back and forth away from the golfer. So, you know, they're fantastic. They give you a lot, and there's just a lot of things to talk through when we have customers that are interested in those.
And I think that's probably amongst the most important things, the most beneficial things that the indoor golf shop provides is this expertise, because there's a lot of information. Now, it's just staying with the launch monitor component to it. You talked about basically the two sides of it. You got the radar based and the video based. Can you talk about how, if I'm coming to you and saying, I'm looking for a launch monitor, what's the process for me to decide between which one of those is going to be most beneficial for me?
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, we typically, if you're just looking at a launch monitor specifically that you can really use out on the range, and you're getting your numbers and you're really trying to practice on your game, that's when we can kind of narrow down the conversation, because other people are looking for that maybe launch monitor for golf simulator, you know, play. And that's a different conversation, because that's when we're talking about space and about what you have available to you in your home or in your office or business. So the launch monitor conversation, if you're strictly looking around your data and what you're trying to get out of the numbers, that's when we talk, okay, let's start with your price point. Well, or your budget. Where are you landing as far as what you're looking to spend? All right, then we can compartmentalize you on these 3 brands or these 3 manufacturers, because those have kind of the most horsepower, the most data analytics, the data points that they're giving you. And that's where we want to kind of fit that customer. If it's somebody that's, like we talked about earlier, that's beginning the sport, then we don't want to put them in a launch monitor that just provides them so much that they don't have any clue what to do with. These things are so powerful and they give you so much information that, it can be overwhelming, and you've paid for so much more than you actually need. So, the Foresight, the GC Quad, the GC3, even the Bushnell Launch Pro, you have Unicore coming out with a mini. So all of those are kind of at this other, this mid-range level of portable launch monitor that is very, very high powered information. And then you have, SkyTrack and Flight Scope and all these other kind of a different price point down the line. And now you have Rapsodo and Garmin that are on, less than $1,000. So, it starts with that kind of price, and then understanding from the customer what they really want to get out of it.
It's really amazing when you just rattled off all those manufacturers, and I'm a fan of the launch monitor, the golf simulators, and it's got my head spinning as well. Is that like, I guess that's the question. How do you stay up to date on all this? Because it just seems like so much new technology and so many new products coming out all the time.
It really is. On one hand, it's very exciting. It's a great thing for our side of the industry, of course, but it is a lot. And a lot of the companies are really trying to grab onto this momentum and this kind of wave of technology in golf that hasn't really been there before. So it's moving fast. And, our team as a company, we try and stay on top of it just by utilizing the different products that are out there. And we have that kind of luxury of doing that. Joe Public doesn't have that luxury. Like, that's the big difference in the launch monitor and simulator business compared to golf clubs, is you can go into a store and try all the golf clubs out that you want and find the one best for you. But with us, it's hard to find, play on every single launch monitor that's available. So, there's a lot of trust that's built up between our sales team and the customer, because we put some time into all the different products. And fortunately, we're in a unique position where we can really test the product before they go and are out on the market. So the companies come to our team and they compare the different launch monitors with each other. We send them back data and reports of, hey, it's not ready over here because it's still missing side spin, or it's missing, ball speed, or whatever it may be. So we're testing, we're kind of a proving ground, because we're just in a unique spot to have all the different manufacturers in one place, and customers rely on us. We have a kind of a mantra as part of our company that we are the caddy. We're the ones that are guiding them through the process, and we're telling them what club to pull and what monitor to choose, or what space to utilize in their home. And so it's a very much of a consultant relationship. We're really advising people on what they want to spend their money on.
So let's finish up with a broad-based question here, to even for you to kind of look into the crystal ball. Technology just seems to be exploding everywhere so quickly, with artificial intelligence and all these different components that we're able to see. We're able to see self-driving cars. We're able to see, Chat GPT. So it's forced us to rethink what the future looks like, even 5 years from now. And there's a thought that, we're not going to need cars, right? It's going to be all kind of a call for a car. It's going to come get you and all that. And it's going to change the way we live. Obviously, as a golfer, then I think, well, my garage is then wide open for a golf simulator. So how much do you think, what do you think the future is? Do you think that any person like myself who loves the game is then going to be thinking, well, I need enough space in this house to have my simulator? You think that's going to be something that we're all going to have?
I think it's going to become more and more common at certain levels, of course. Home builders are going to be tied into Golf Simulator. They're going to, have floor plans that are ready to go for a golf space inside. But, like you talked about, just the way that artificial intelligence is heading, that transition between indoor and outdoor is going to become very, very tight. And what you're utilizing in your home or in your business can go directly to the golf course. And there's going to be ways that that launch monitor is interacting with you out on the golf course in a more closely defined way going forward. And that's not too far away. Like, you're going to know exactly what club to pull based on what the launch monitor tells you out on the golf course. And, who knows what the interface could be like, or the display could be like on a golf bag, as it talks back and forth to a launch monitor or something. So there's that type of advancements that I don't think we're too far away from. And then, with Golf Simulator, that experience too, I do believe it's going to become more and more immersive. And, that's one thing that you don't get right now with golf simulators is I think, and what we all love about the game, the traditional game, is that nature aspect of it, and the smells and the sounds and the real turf and so companies are, and we are as well, making advancements on the turf and what you're hitting out of. The sand trap has always been an issue with golf simulators, and the thick rough that has always been an issue, and the trees and whatever, that's real golf. And so that has to eventually make its way into the simulator game. And then who knows what kind of sensory, components there are with smells and dew and all the great things that we love about the sport, that comes over into the simulator game as well. So there's just so many ways that it could grow and expand, and it's really fun to think about what it could be like in 10 years.